Okay. Yeah, you can take that off your screen. All right. So, just let's start with kind of big picture thoughts on your part of the matchup.
Well, I'm really excited. I think we've got two great teams, two teams that are going to be in the hunt all year long. And it's kind of funny when you have to put it out there week one and determine where you're going to be. But I think this is a great measuring stick for the Bills. Everyone is saying this is a Super Bowl caliber team. Well, now you've got to go on the road to the Super Bowl defending champs, all the energy they're going to have in the building, bringing the flag in and all of that. Can we show the world that we're ready? So I think it's going to be great. But Vic, here's what I think this game is going to come down to. All the focus is going to be on the quarterbacks. Josh Allen, he's great. He's going to make plays. Matthew Stafford, what's his elbow like? Can he throw? How's he going to connect with his new receivers? How are they replacing Beckham? Passing game, passing game, passing game. What's going to determine this game, I think, is going to be the running game. Buffalo, I believe, they get in big games, and it's so easy to put it all on Josh because he can deliver. But they're going to have to make the Rams understand that they can run the ball on them and they can run it effectively. They've got to make Aaron Donald and that crew have to defend, have to at least think about defending the run. Then on the other side of the coin, I think the Rams are going to come out and try to pound and develop that run game and get them thinking, the Bills defense thinking, what do I have to do to take away this run? And that's when they hit you with the big play passes. So if the Bills are going to win this game, I think they're going to have to run effectively. I'm not saying run 30 times or whatever, but effective runs and then be able to stop the run and put the Rams in definite passing situations.
Tony, how much concern should there be on the part of especially Sean McDermott, but when there's so much hype? And I can't recall even in the Super Bowl run of the Bills, Tony, when the expectations were this high, the sense that they're not just going to get to the Super Bowl, they're winning it. Crown them now. But from the player psyche standpoint, managing that as a coach, if you could address that.
Well, I think part of the problem that you have to deal with as a coach is everyone is now they're putting you in the playoffs. And they're even saying, hey, it's not even the playoffs, it's that AFC Championship game. And we've got to get to the Super Bowl. If we don't get to the Super Bowl, this season is a failure. And the tendency for the players is to think, well, the regular season doesn't matter. We got to ramp it up in the playoffs, and that's what's going to happen. And that will get you beat. That will derail your season if you're not careful because everybody else is feeling the same way and they're shooting for it. Everybody's got the Buffalo Bills circle as one of those big games for them. So you got to show up every single week. You got to be on your game. You aren't going to just slide by people because you're going to get their absolute best. And I think that's what Coach McDermott has to focus in on his guys. Hey, this is 17 weeks now of us playing our best football. And then, yeah, we'll have a chance to show what we can do in the playoffs. But don't neglect and forget about this regular season.
The other psychological question I have is dealing with how the 2021 season ended and all that came from the controversial final 13 seconds of that game. I'm guessing something like that just doesn't leave the psyche, doesn't just evaporate. So how do you manage that where that's not a lingering thought for your team?
You have to talk about what got you there, what you didn't do in that game, and what you maybe didn't do in those final couple of minutes. But then you've got to put that behind you and work on next year. We had the same thing happen to me in Indianapolis, and it was the same kind of situation. 2003, 2004, 2005. We've got great teams. We're running into the Patriots every year. The Patriots are beating us. We finally get the number one seed. We're playing at home. We're playing the Steelers. We'd beaten them earlier in the season pretty handily. And they get ahead of us. And we've got a chance to tie the game on the last play of the game. We've got Mike Vanderjagt hadn't missed a field goal in the Dome in hundreds of years, and he misses, and we lose the game, and Pittsburgh goes on and wins the Super Bowl. It was crushing for us, but we had to deal with that. Hey, we didn't play our game. We didn't execute in the fourth quarter. And the only way we're going to get that taste out of our mouth is to get back to the same spot. The only way we're going to get back there is focus on ourselves, how we do it every week, and get back to the same point. It's going to be a long grind, but that's what we've got to do. Our 2006 team did that. That was the team that went to the Super Bowl after the big disappointment. So it can be done. It will be done. And I know Coach McDermott has those guys focused in. We can't play that game over again. We can't play those 13 seconds over again. All we can do is make it happen this year. And I'm confident they'll put that game behind them.
One of the, I think, results from that game or certainly that season where the team saw itself lacking was not having the effective pass rush, right? Consistent pass rush. So they go out and make that big splash with Von Miller. How much of an impact do you think Von Miller at 33 can make on this team?
I love that move because when you get to where the Bills are, when you've got to win big games in November and December and January, and you've got a dynamic offense, you're going to be ahead. You have to be able to close out games. And in this day and age with the rules, you don't close out games with pass coverage. You don't close it down with lockdown defenders. You close it down by hammering the quarterback and making him uncomfortable in those last drives. And Von Miller can do that. We broadcast the Super Bowl last year on NBC, and I said, hey, the guy to look out for, Aaron Donald, all that, watch out for Von Miller. I think they're going to put him on the left side and, rush off the defensive or offensive left side, and he'll make some big plays. He got the sack to really turn the game around, and that's what you're looking for. 4 or 5 plays during the season at the right time, one pass rush at the right time can win you a Super Bowl. And I know Von Miller can deliver that, and I think the Bills know that too.
The other thing is the transition in offensive coordinators from Brian Daboll to now Ken Dorsey. Ken has never called plays before or hadn't until now. How big of a transition will that be? And how do you see that, even though they have a history together from quarterbacks coach to quarterback, how much of a whatever adjustment, if you will, for Josh Allen to have Ken Dorsey's voice in his ear throughout a game?
That will be the adjustment. Ken's been there. He knows Josh. He's seen this offense function. He knows what they do well, and that part is going to be fine. But just that chemistry and building that rapport and calling those plays for the first time, it is a different step. No question about it. I prepared to be a head coach for 15 years, and you think you're ready and you're ready to go, but then you've got to make decisions, snap judgment decisions that you've thought about in the past, but now you've got to make them. And it's a little different. It's a little learning curve. Ken's going to be fine. I think what he's going to have to balance is how much do I put on Josh and how much do I let the other guys operate and let that running game operate. And that's going to be the big test, because when you got a dynamic quarterback, it's easy to say every critical situation, we're going to let Josh do it. And I think that'll be the learning curve, but they're going to be fine. And I think Ken's going to be ready for this.
Okay, one more. Aaron Donald, of course, being such a game wrecker. And I know you referenced that that would be a focal point, but look out for Von Miller. That's when Von was a Ram. Now that the Bills have to they deal with Aaron Donald and the rest of that defensive front, which is so dominant. How do you see this Buffalo offensive line, which also has gone through some transition, handling that task?
Well, they'll know where Aaron Donald is, and the Rams will try to move him around, and they'll adjust their protections to try to get the double teams. To me, the biggest thing is limiting the amount of times that he can tee off. If Aaron Donald can just play pass, doesn't have to worry about the run and rush the passer, he's hard to handle. So if you get in a lot of 3rd and 5 plus, where he knows this is pass, I can just lay my ears back and go. If you're not running the ball effectively on 1st and 2nd down, so that he goes out there and says, I'm not even going to play run, I'm just teeing off every single down, you're going to have some problems with him no matter what. So to me, the key is the offensive line will be fine if it doesn't turn into a track meet for Aaron Donald. If he's got to be in the starting blocks and I've got to read run, I've got to decide what it is, and then go, now you've got a chance. And to me, that's the whole thing. How do I structure this as a Bills offensive play caller to put some doubt in their mind, to keep us out of those obvious third and longs?
Perfect. Tony, thank you so much. You are the best.